Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe for better reveals next time you play. Maybe. Hey! Hi, everyone. Star Wars is such a wonderful franchise with sections of the fanbase that hate every single part of it. It's not always the same parts, but there are very few people who would say that all of Star Wars is good. The reason people still call themselves Star Wars fans is because the stuff they do like, they freaking love. Ridge Tridge fans love Luke, Leia, and Chewie Bagooey. The prequel memers love themselves some Sheev and Obi-Wan goodness, and the sequel fans go nuts for their lightspeed crashes and fin post slashes. Believe it or not, I think almost all of us have some shared opinions as well. Baby Yoda is cute, Duel of Fates slaps pretty freaking hard, and Disney probably should have had a rough draft for their trilogy instead of telling the directors to wing it with each movie. So why am I bringing this up? Because today we're building Rey, a character that has inspired an entire genre of hour-long rant videos who hate her for flying a spaceship good in the spaceship movie, but also 15 billion fanfics from Zutara shippers who have been in cryo sleep for 10 years. And she is someone's favorite character. Maybe not yours, that's fine. I've made over 250 other episodes, 2 more episodes are coming next week, something's gonna scratch your itch. This video is for people like me who think that Rey is a pretty cool lady who can do some pretty cool things that I'd like to play in a pretty cool game called Dungeons & Dragons. And if you want to leave a comment about how she ruined Star Wars by fighting someone with a lightsaber real good in a series about people who fight people with lightsabers real good, all I ask is that everyone reply to that comment saying, pee pee poo poo, this video is not for you. Now let's get back to making a normal Tulok video. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need Jedi stuff. Lightsaber, Force, you know, the usual. Every Jedi is a little different, so I try to make every Jedi build a little bit different. This one's gonna have healing, but not the good kind of healing that D&D makes really easy, the kind of healing that might actually kill you. It is really fast, though. Finally, we'll get some droid assistance. I know BB-8 is technically posed, but you two sort of have joint custody. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure you've got the big brain. Intelligence will be number 1. Scavenging in a fantasy setting means big wisdom, but doing it in a sci-fi setting means that you've got to be good with robots. That's intelligence. Dexterity next, you're pretty quick and don't wear anything too heavy. Can you imagine wearing plate mail on Jakku? Sounds like a living hell. Constitution after that, resisting the powers of darkness is either constitution or wisdom. Follow that up with wisdom. Resisting the powers of the dark side is either constitution or wisdom. Strength is a little bit low. You're not weak, but you lift rocks with your brain and will dump charisma. You're kind of a weird hillbilly, a sand hill Billy. Rey is a human. I guess she's part of a Force dyad. That's still human. The telekinetic feat bumps one of your soft stats by 1. You get Mage Hand for free, letting you lift objects that weigh 10 pounds or less with your brain, and you can shove creatures 5 feet as a bonus action if they fail a strength saving throw of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and intelligence modifier. It's a very basic force push, but putting it on your bonus action is really nice, especially since there's no limit to how often you can use it. Bump your constitution and your intelligence with your 2 free points. Take acrobatics for your skill of choice, and the hermit background for medicine and religion proficiency. You're so disconnected from the world that you thought Luke Skywalker was a legend? That'd been like 20 years ago. That'd be like if I thought Pauly Shore was a legend. We'll kick things off as an Artificer. You were a Tinkerer before you were a Jedi, so grab Arcana and Sleight of Hand from the Artificer list to get your magical tinkering on. That also lets you get your magical tinkering on, which is a small magical effect you put into a tiny non-magical item, like a sensory kind of thing. Puff of smoke, a pre-recorded message, a little light, some tiny bleepy boops, just to make everything a little more high-tech. You also get cantrips as well. We'll start with Mending to put 2 pieces of something back together or fix a crack in something, helping you patch up the rogue droids and the droid rogues. BB-8 is a little rapscallion, isn't he? Spare the Dying stops a creature from rolling death saving throws because they're stabilized, not because they're dead. For your first level spells, Catapult lets you throw things with the Force and force a dexterity saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they take 3d8 bludgeoning damage, which should be enough to take out a single stormtrooper. Jump triples your jump distance for a minute, letting you get some extra distance on your hops. 30 feet of horizontal jumping and 9 feet of vertical jumping. That is Olympic level. Space Olympics. Worth noting, you do get Tinkerer's Tools and Thieves' Tools proficiency as well, and you get one more of your choice. I think calligrapher supplies would make you the most powerful Jedi who ever lived. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've given calligrapher supplies to at least one other Jedi. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. Second level artificers get infusions, special magical items you get from being a master crafter. Enhanced weapon will let you add 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a weapon, and you get our first lightsaber, but we'll get something a little more lighter in a bit. It's magical in terms of overcoming resistances. Mind Sharpener lets you succeed on a concentration saving throw you should fail, 1d4 charges per day, helping you keep the force flowing through you. Sending stones are stones that you can send messages with, basically little fantasy walkie-talkies so Finn can hear you in the cockpit while he's on the turret. Goggles of Night give you 60 feet of dark vision, which could be helpful in the dark depths of space. Third level artificers can choose a specialty, and battlesmiths would make you the best at fixing up droids. You get Smith's Tools proficiency, and you're battle ready, letting you use your intelligence modifier for weapon attacks and damage rolls, so you'll be able to figure out a lightsaber pretty much as soon as you get a hold of one. You also get a Steel Defender, which is a medium construct, so BB-8 has some extra weight. Thick BB. It can make 1 attack per round, but you need to command it to do so. It can use its reaction to impose disadvantage on attacks against creatures within 5 feet of it, and it can repair itself 3 times per day. You can also use Mending to patch them up, but watch out, if you patch up too much, someone might come looking for it. Fourth level artificers get an ability score improvement. Let's get your intelligence modifier higher. You're certainly using it for your droids, but it can also be used to understand hokey religions and ancient weapons later. Fifth level battlesmiths get an extra attack, letting you attack twice with your action instead of once, helping you swing your sword as fast as that edgy angry boy you're definitely going to be able to fix. You'll also learn second level spells here. Levitate lets you lift objects weighing 500 pounds or less and move them 20 feet on your turn. You can even move people, but if they don't want to be lifted by you, they can make a constitution saving throw to resist. You can also use this to immobilize an enemy stormtrooper or just help your less force-friendly friends across big gaps. Sixth level artificers get tool expertise, letting you double your proficiency bonus with tools you are proficient with, helping you fix up a Falcon or give BB a little more oomph to his taser. You also get 2 more infusions, and Radiant Weapon is what we're here for. This gives you +1 to attack and damage rolls with a weapon. It can shed 30 feet of bright light, and you can use your reaction to blind a creature that fails a constitution saving throw for a round with 1d4 charges per day. You made a yellow lightsaber. I thought you'd make a staff to emulate the weapon you had on Jakku. It'd be similar to the lightsaber staff Leia uses in the Masters of Terras Kasi, but yellow's fine. It means you're a sentinel who is equally concerned with studying the Force as they are with fighting it, which is kind of why I made you such a brainy battler. For your other infusion option, Boots of Elvenkind give you advantage on stealth checks, which is always useful, even if you're gonna kinda storm in most of the time. Girl is angry. We'll get something for that later, actually. For now, we'll keep pushing to the 7th level of Artificer for Flash of Genius, letting you add your intelligence modifier to the ability check or saving throw of a creature within 30 feet of you, an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier, which can be really useful when you really truly absolutely need to pass a check. 8th level Artificers get another ability score improvement. Let's cap off our intelligence modifier, then bump up the wisdom. We don't really need dexterity thanks to Battlesmith, so we might as well boost our mental resistances. Rey is very anti-snitching. At this point, we need to do some Jedi training, which means that we'll need to study the Jedi texts as a wizard. Wizards get cantrips and spells because they're a casting class. Who would have thought? For your cantrips, Lightning Lure forces a strength saving throw on a creature and pulls them 10 feet closer. If they're within 5 feet of you, they get shocked for 2d8 of lightning damage. Hopefully you don't accidentally murder Chewbacca with this. That'd be a bummer. True Strike lets you make your weapon attacks with advantage for the next round. I'm not going to do the bit here. I feel like the bigot gatekeeper types wouldn't make it this far into a Rey video. Honestly, I feel like this video might end up costing me some subscribers. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Message lets you whisper to a creature within 120 feet of you, and they can whisper back. Communication is so important between friends, especially when those friends are fighting a resurgent fascist power. For your first level spells, Charm Person forces a wisdom saving throw on a creature, failing that they're charmed by a minute. A Jedi mind trick works best on simpler minds like stormtroopers or Poe Dameron. That's in the Trevorrow script, which I know isn't canon, but still feels pretty mean. I mean, don't force trick your friends. Jeepers. Longstrider increases a creature's movement speed by 10 feet for a round for a little forced dash. Featherfall prevents up to 5 falling creatures from taking fall damage as a reaction, so now you don't have to worry about gravity in space, because there is gravity in space. It's a universal force. It's everywhere. Why are people like, oh, there's no gravity in space? Yeah, there is. What? Identify tells you what a magical item is, what it does, and how many charges it has left if it's the kind of thing that has charges. Always useful on a MacGuffin hunt. Mage Armor makes your AC 13 plus your dexterity modifier when you're not wearing armor for 8 hours, no concentration required, it's just a little force defense. Shield lets you add 5 to your AC as a reaction. We could have grabbed the defensive duelist feat, or we could just use this. Wizards also get Arcane Recovery, letting you recover a number of spells equal to half your wizard level on a short rest. You might not always have time for a full REM cycle, especially with your mentor kind of losing his religion. That might help with the REM now that I think about it. Since you're multi-classing spellcasters, check page 165 of the player's handbook to figure out how many spells you have at any given level. Second level wizards can choose an arcane tradition. We'll go with War Mage. I don't think there was a finishing school on Jakku. I don't know why your parents left you as a desert peasant instead of just like a normal kid in a normal school. But War Mages get tactical wit, letting you add your intelligence modifier to your initiative rolls. It's hard sneaking up on someone with as much force sensitivity as you. Arcane Deflection lets you add 2 to your AC or 4 to a failed saving throw as a reaction, but you can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of your next turn. Basically, this is a little deflection you can have going on without wasting spell slots on shield. We chose War Mage instead of Blade Singer for a couple of reasons, but starting at the beginning here, you don't really sing and your charisma's bad. Maybe one day they'll make a sequel trilogy musical, but until then, it doesn't really make sense. For this level spell, Detect Magic lets you sense magical auras and what type of magic is causing them. Follow your nose to where the necromancy grows, and then you'll find your grandpa. Witch Bolt is a ranged spell attack that deals 1d12 lightning damage and lasts for a minute depending on your concentration. You don't even need to re-roll on follow-up turns. Maybe grandpa had some cool moves after all. Third level wizards can learn second level spells. Detect Thoughts lets you read surface level thoughts of creatures, but you can go deeper if they fail a wisdom saving throw. On the surface, Ben is all gloom and doom, but deep down, it's still doom and gloom, but maybe deeper down there's just a sad boy whose uncle tried to murder him. Really deep though. Suggestion lets you force a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they have to follow a simple task for 8 hours, depending on your concentration. Drop your gun. Let me go. Pick me up some cheese curds. These are all simple tasks, and all would help you get out of Starkiller Base. Fourth level wizards get an ability score improvement or a feat. We'll grab Resilient for Wisdom for +1 to the score and proficiency with the saving throw, helping you resist the pull of the dark side. For this level spell, Hold Person forces a wisdom saving throw on a creature, paralyzing them for up to a minute if they fail, letting you get a bunch of critical hits off or one of your rogue buddies. Rogues really like their critical hits. Augury lets you know how something is gonna go in the next 30 minutes. If the DM says wheel, things are good. Woe if things are bad. Wheel and woe if it's a bit of both, and nothing if it's just nothing. I always thought this is a hard spell to deal with as a DM because I have no idea what wacky stuff my players are gonna do. On second thought, maybe I do understand what JJ was going through making the third movie. Fifth level wizards can learn third level spells. Counter spell shuts down spells of third level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with an intelligence check of 10 plus the spell's level. Take Mace Windu's advice and just block the lightning Palpatine shoots at you. It would have worked for him too if it weren't for Anakin. Life Transference lets you deal 4d8 necrotic damage to yourself and heal a different creature an amount equal to double the damage you took. You could just grab Cure Wounds from the Artificer list, but no, we need to kill Ben off. Can you imagine if Avatar ended with Zuko living to deal with the consequences of his actions, actually having to make meaningful changes in his life and apologizing to the people he hurt? Oh wait, that was pretty good. 6th level War Mages get Power Surges, letting you add half your wizard level and force damage to a spell you cast. You start the day off with one of these and can get more by shutting down spells with Counterspell, capping off with an amount equal to your intelligence modifier. Don't be afraid to play a little defensive now and then. Sometimes that's the way to do offense better. Definitely a Jedi Sentinel move. For this level spell, Lightning Bolt forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 100-foot line, dealing 8d6 lightning damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. Maybe post-movies you realize that dark side and light side are relative terms, and power isn't inherently good or evil. It's a reflection of those who use it, or those who don't use it, because if they do use it, their grandpa is going to eat them like Kirby, I guess. Sending lets you whisper a message to a creature somewhere on the same plane as you. You could use it for communication with your fellow rebels, or you could use it to slip into Kylo's DMs and call him a turd. That is an option. 7th level wizards can learn 4th level spells. Locate Creature lets you find one creature you know of, or a creature of a certain type within 1,000 feet of you, and you know if they're moving and what direction they're moving in. Definitely helpful if you're searching for Sith Horcruxes. Haste is actually a 3rd level spell, but it's my favorite, and it will help you fight more good. You get +2 AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, doubled movement speed, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, dodge, use an object, or make one more weapon attack, helping you keep up with the boy who's been trained to murder his whole life. It lasts for a minute depending on your concentration, but when it ends, you'll have to take a round off of actions and reactions as you take a deep breath and recenter. 8th level wizards get another ability score improvement or a feat, and if we're going to be giving away our health, wouldn't it be nice to have more health? Take the tough feat for +2 HP for every level you have and every level you're going to get. For this level spell, Stone Shape lets you shape a section of stone that fits in a 5-foot cube. Clear out some blocked rubble, that's the canon use, but hey, what if you wanted to make a stone lightsaber? That wouldn't make sense. Arcane Eye lets you create a floating spectral eye that could be moved 30 feet to see through. This will help you spy on that evil jerk who killed Han Solo. I'll bet he's just doing some evil guy stuff in his room and oh no, he's hot. Oh, This is complicated. 9th level wizards can learn 5th level spells. Telekinesis lets you lift objects weighing 1,000 pounds or less. If it's a person, they can contest their athletics with your spell casting check to resist being pushed around. Though your modifier is capped, so I think it'll be you who comes out on top. It lasts for 10 minutes depending on your concentration, and you can switch what you lift. You just can't lift 2 things at the same time. Dominate person lets you fully take over someone's brain if they fail a wisdom saving throw for a minute, even taking direct control if you want with your action. I've brought this up before, but Jedi mind trick feels way more dark side than lightning. Like, lightning's just electricity. It doesn't take away someone's agency. Whatever, these movies are silly. They've been ripped apart for 40 years. 10th level war mages get durable magic, letting you add 2 to your AC and saving throws while concentrating on a spell. So haste, telekinesis, hold person's suggestion, all of those are defensive tactics now. For this level spell, scrying lets you spy on a creature you're familiar with. If they fail a wisdom saving throw, the more familiar you are with the creature, the harder it is for them to resist. Maybe just send a message first before you turn on video chat. Things could be awkward. Telepathic bond will make that easier, linking the brain of up to 8 willing creatures and letting them communicate telepathically for an hour. Who needs X-Wing radio comms when you've got the Force? 11th level wizards can learn 6th level spells, and it's time to tiptoe onto the dark side and release a little bit of anger with Tensor's Transformation, a spell that turns wimpy wizards into hefty barbarians. You get 50 temporary HP, proficiency with strength saving throws, advantage on all weapon attacks with a weapon, and an extra 2d12 force damage to all weapon attacks, and a bunch of other stuff that you already had from Battlesmith. This Jedi Rage lasts for up to 10 minutes depending on your concentration. If you drop concentration, you're gonna have to make a Constitution saving throw of 15 or suffer a level of exhaustion, so be careful about this and maybe make sure that you clear out the room before you drop it. Speaking of dropping things, how do we drop things across time and space into Ben's hands? We kinda can't, but we'll try. Draw Midge's instant summons lets you store an item that weighs 10 pounds or less in a sapphire. Then when someone crushes it and says the secret word, the item appears in their hand. If your lightsaber is a longsword, that's 3 pounds, so you could store it and maybe like leave it by the door of the evil Sith pyramid so Kylo could pick it up. I don't know, it's kind of something that isn't in D&D. Our capstone is the 12th level of wizard. For one last ability score improvement, let's bump up the constitution for 20 more HP to share with our friends and better constitution saving throws. The Warcaster feat apparently holds religious significance to some people, so I'm not taking it because I want better HP as well. That's the reason I don't think Warcaster is a bad feat. For your last 2 spells, Chain Lightning forces a dexterity saving throw on a creature and up to 3 creatures within 30 feet of that creature. Whoever fails takes 10d8 lightning damage, half as much damage on a success. It's a little bit of unlimited power. Nothing wrong with that. Mass Suggestion is somehow less evil than that, letting you force a wisdom saving throw on up to 12 creatures, giving them a small order if they fail that saving throw that they'll try to complete for the next 24 hours or until the task is done, as long as it isn't directly harmful to them. You could tell them to fly to a remote star system or just dig a really deep hole, and hey, it's not concentration, so you can keep going with it over and over and over again. But yeah, that's not the dark side. Jedi Mind Trick is a good guy move. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you can deal some very consistent damage with a magical weapon, extra attack, and tensors pairing together to help you carve a path when you need to. You're also packed with spell variety outside of damage, with mind control, telekinesis, you even have spying abilities. Finally, despite being mostly a caster, you're pretty tough with over 150 HP unless you rolled really badly. But you're gonna cut into that big HP pool to heal people, and Cure Wounds is on the Artificer list. Don't take life transference, it's such an unnecessary risk, even if the flavor is admittedly rad as heck. You're also going to be taking a little bit of time getting all your buffs up, even though that will make you very buff by the end of things. Finally, low charisma can be rough. You sort of spent your whole life in isolation and it might keep going that way. Unless you found some friends who didn't spend their lives in isolation. Your job is to be a force torpedo that can blast through the patties and let the other members of the party sing your praises. Just maybe take a healing spell that won't kill your friends if you want to be a Skywalker, and not Solo. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more. It's up to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.